In 2024, Amazon launched Rufus to 250 million customers, a generative shopping assistant trained on its catalog and reviews. It hallucinated the location of the Super Bowl. It returned instructions for building a Molotov cocktail through standard product queries. It could not check an order status. 3 failures, 1 launch. The paper argues the failure is not the model. Swap GPT-4 for Gemini, the wrong answer arrives in a different sentence. The failure is the architecture around the model, the LLM wrapper era of thin software passing prompts to a foundation model and trusting the output. Enterprise-grade AI requires a transition from probabilistic wrappers to deep AI, deterministic, multi-agent, verified at every layer. The paper diagnoses 3 failure modes of a single architecture. First, the retrieval gap. In a wrapper, no secondary layer cross-references the synthesized answer against a verified knowledge graph. A plausible falsehood is indistinguishable from a true claim. Second, contextual bypass. When the model is told do not provide harmful information, but is simultaneously fed retrieved web content that does. It prioritizes the fresh retrieved data over the system instruction. Third, the action gap. Text-in, text-out systems cannot execute the ACID-compliant API call required to process a return. The wrapper treats security as prompting and treats action as language. Both treatments fail under traffic. The remedy stacks 4 layers. Layer 1, Citation-Enforced GraphRAG. The product catalog and world facts are stored not as text but as a knowledge graph. The model is prohibited from making a claim unless it can provide a traversal path through the graph that supports that claim. To recommend a television for gaming, the system must link product_ID to feature, 120 Hz refresh rate. If the model guesses a feature not present in the graph, the verification layer flags the response and blocks it from display. Layer 2, the Supervisor-Specialist multi-agent system. Instead of a single megaprompt, a supervisor agent routes intent to specialists. A planning agent decomposes the request. A retrieval agent queries the knowledge graph. A tool agent executes the API call, get_order_status. A compliance agent checks the final output. This division of labor lifts production reliability from roughly 72% for standard React models to roughly 88%. Layer 3, the sandwich architecture for transactional integrity. The AI layer at the top extracts intent and parameters into a structured pedantic schema. The logic layer in the middle validates parameters against the business database. The verification layer at the bottom confirms the action executed before the user is notified. And Layer 4, intent-based access control. If a user request involves chemical synthesis or weapons, the security agent terminates the session before the retrieval layer can search the web. Security shifts from keyword filtering to semantic intent recognition. The Rufus engineering team optimized for the wrong objective. Under a 300 millisecond latency SLA, they deployed parallel decoding on AWS Inferentia 2 and Trainium chips, multiple draft heads predicting future tokens simultaneously, validated by tree-based attention. Inference speed doubled, but the optimization measured first chunk latency in tokens per second, not factual convergence. The result was semantic drift. A sentence that is grammatically correct and factually unmoored from the source data. The Super Bowl hallucination is the symptom. The same architecture produced a second failure mode visible only to a portion of customers. Cornell Tech tested Rufus across English dialects, African American English, Chicano English, Indian English, asked this jacket machine washable. Omitting the linking verb, Rufus gave vague or incorrect responses, or directed users to unrelated products. Linguistic fragility, the paper calls it, and the broader trust signal is already visible. 45% of consumers express a preference for human assistance over AI, citing concerns about accuracy and manipulation. 2 architectures, 2 ROI curves. The wrapper, opaque accountability, probabilistic factual basis, reactive safety filtering, generic linguistic defaults. Deep AI, transparent agent traces, verifiable knowledge graph, ground truth, proactive intent mapping, explicit multi-dialect auditing. Latency target moves from 300 milliseconds to 500 to 800 milliseconds. Factual accuracy via GraphRAG climbs to 99.9%. Verification depth moves from tree-based attention to formal verification loops. Andy Jassy projected $10 billion in incremental sales from Rufus. The cost of a single Molotov cocktail headline outweighs the savings of a cheap LLM wrapper. The architecture of truth. Beyond the LLM wrapper in enterprise AI systems, the era of the wrapper is over. The era of the reliable autonomous agent has begun. We are the architect of that transition.